like to call the Westmont Village Board meeting of May 15, 2014 to order at 7:03 p.m. And I would ask that, since Clerk Simsky is absent right now, she's on her way back, I ask Carrie Kamak to please call the roll.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Gunther?
Here.
Okay, Assistant Village Manager May?
Here.
Okay, Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Scott?
Here.
Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Trustee Seneca is absent. Deputy Clerk Kamak present. We're ready, sir.
Okay, if everybody please rise, join with me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight, and the first item is open forum, and I know Chief went around. Is there anybody tonight that's here under open forum? We did not have any requests, so then we'll move on to reports, and the first report is the mayor. And this evening, I'd like to call to the podium Kate Buxton from the Westmont Library, and I think she's got an introduction to do for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, we're really excited. We have a big change that just happened at the library. I want to introduce Julia Cohen. She was formerly the assistant director at the library, and she's now been appointed by our Board of Trustees as the full-time permanent director at the library. So I want to have her come say a couple words.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to introduce myself, or have Kate introduce me. So several of you I know, and for those of you I don't know, I'm Julia Cohen. I've been at the Westmont Library since 2007, and as you all know, it's a great place to work, great community. So we are looking forward to continuing to work with the village and the chamber and the businesses and the schools to bring great service to the residents, because that's what we're all here to do. So thank you, and I appreciate your support of the library.
We'll look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to introduce and call to our podium Fred Zimney, is that how you say it? From the U.S. Luge team, and we have a big event this Saturday, so the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Board. And thank you, all of you, and the whole town of Westmont for having the U.S. Luge team back to Westmont. The program we'll be doing is called the Slider Search, and it's a program that the U.S. Luge team has been doing for about 25 years, and it's how we introduce the sport of luge to new potential athletes. And it's really a good grassroots program. It's a hands-on program that will hopefully get some kids from the community involved in the sport of luge, and maybe one day on an Olympic team. That's the whole idea of the program for us. And in fact, in the last Winter Olympics last February in Sochi, 7 of the 10 luge athletes on the Olympic team started in this very program in the various cities that we've visited in past years, including Olympic bronze medalist Erin Hamlin. She started just like the kids are going to start this weekend. So I just want to thank the whole town for having us here again. This is our second time here in Westmont, and hopefully we'll find some Olympians.
Thank you. And then I'd like to ask Larry to come up and maybe go over the program for Saturday.
Sure, thank you. For street closures, and that's always important for folks who are living right there on Cass Avenue, that'll begin at 7 a.m. And so Cass Avenue will be closed from 55th Street up to West Dallas, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. But the actual event will be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. And then actually, Trustee Barry will talk about the community challenge part of it. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So inviting the public to come out. Looks like we'll probably have some media coverage. All the local print media will be there, but we also have interest from several of the TV networks. So hopefully they'll be out as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for this evening. Deputy Clerk, you're welcome to give a report.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, my apologies for not in a roll call asking if Attorney Zemanek is present. So my apologies, John. No problem. Just wanted to remind the residents that this last Monday of the month is Memorial Day holiday, and that is also observed by the Waste Management waste hauler. So please, residents, have your garbage and yard waste out the following workday, which would be Tuesday, and every following day, a pickup schedule during that day during that week, I should say, is going to be picked up one day later than the event, with the last day, people scheduled for a Friday garbage pickup, their garbage and yard waste will be picked up on Saturday. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Zemanek.
Sure, just one comment, and that is you probably saw in the Tribune or other newspapers an article about a farmers insurance class action lawsuit against virtually every municipality in northern Illinois and beyond. And the mayor asked me to just make a quick comment for the benefit of the public that we're aware of that lawsuit. Westmont was one of the named municipalities along with literally hundreds of others. It's been tendered to an insurance company. They're providing a defense and coverage. And speaking with the attorney assigned to the case, don't believe there's merit to the case, and it will be defended.
Thank you. And then Manager Searle is on vacation, so Assistant Manager, Public Works Director, May.
Mayor, the only thing I had, if we could, I'd appreciate an executive session to discuss the purchase of real property for use by the village.
Okay. And I think along with that, we'll also have personnel and then pending litigation and associated with the farmers insurance.
Correct.
So, okay, thank you. Moving on to the trustees. I'll start on that side over there. Trustee Nerl.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Trustee Barker.
I would just like to invite everybody to next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. here in Village Hall. It's another Westmont First meeting, and I'd like everybody to join us there. It's a great group of people that are trying to make a positive difference in Westmont.
Thank you. And I do have to say, Trustee Seneca is also with Clerk Simsky. Their flight got delayed. They were out of town this week with Joe Ron, and they should be back sometime during this meeting. So just to let everybody know, she had every intention to be here. Trustee Barry.
Just to, again, to piggyback on what Larry said on the Street Luge Challenge, we've opened it up to service groups and really all village workers and police department and fire department. With that, we have over 20 competitors that are going to compete in the community part, which is going to be from 12 o'clock till about 1. We ask that people that are participating get there at 11:30. And for the whole community, Uncle Bub's is running specials the whole weekend to correspond with the Street Luge Challenge. So if you come out and watch the event, visit Mark at Uncle Bub's and enjoy some of his barbecue. Also, I'd like to note that it's been a year officially, I think, since the new trustees are in office. And I'd like to thank the mayor and the fellow trustees for bringing me along, Bob Scott, with all your advice and letting me stop in and so forth. I'd also like to take the time to point out a few people that have really made this transition easy and have really gone over and above to make myself feel welcome and to answer a lot of my questions. I'd like to thank Manager Ron Searle, Assistant Manager Steve May, Larry McIntyre, Glenn, I don't know where I'd be without you and the iPad teaching. Also Chief Weiss, Chief Mulhern, and Jill Ziegler and downstairs who's not with us this evening. But again, thank you to you all. You've been very helpful, and I'll continue to use you the next 3 years. So thank you again.
Thank you. And Trustee Addington.
You want to go to Bob first?
Okay, I will go to Trustee Scott.
I'll make it easy for you. I have
Chris and
nothing
I will be a
tonight.
little
He has
bit
nothing,
longer.
that's why I went to you.
All right.
Now you've got everybody's
All right.
3 minutes.
Well, there you go. I'm going to bequeath all but one of my items, which I'll bring last, to this illustrious gentleman standing at the podium, who is the chairman for the Red, White, and Barbecue, Lion Chris Vitak, who's wearing his cute little barbecue shirt. And we'll let him have the floor.
Well, Mayor, trustees, you all know that we are exactly 8 days away from the 8th annual Red, White, and Barbecue. Most of you know this barbecue gets bigger and bigger and better every single year. This year is absolutely no exception. What I've laid out in front here is, and I think I've given everybody on the board a copy of the schedule for the weekend. What We're in several newspapers. We're going to be on several different radio stations. We actually, again, I got word tonight that the city of Chicago is advertising for us again. It's all about bringing people into the state. So I think that's just fantastic. It starts next Friday, May 23rd at 4 o'clock p.m. And it runs through Sunday until 9 o'clock. We've got free entertainment all weekend long. We've got, for the first time ever, I know we've been, teasing everybody for 7 years, and we finally went and did it. We have cooking demonstrations. We have world champion cooks that are going to be out there demonstrating. And all that's brought to us by a place called the Barbecue Authority. They're sponsoring the entire demonstration area. We have plenty of food. We've got some new food vendors. We've got some old food vendors. We've got brand new crafter and commercial vendors. Of course, we've got the all ages carnival with wristband specials from noon to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. What am I missing, Trustee Addington?
Well,
I could not do my job on the barbecue without
Nothing
him.
really, other than just give them the numbers. 72 pro cooking for a competition on Sunday, 40 cooking for a competition on Saturday, 49 amateurs, which is that's the biggest number we've ever had as far as totals go. And it's just, I think it's going to be a nice event, and I don't want to jinx, but I'm going to mention it. Long-range weather forecast is 70 degrees and partly sunny. Knock on wood, it doesn't change. So when you go home, when you go to church this weekend, just remember, light a candle for the barbecue.
And the last thing I would like to just bring up, unless you all have any questions that I can answer, is for the latest and greatest information to, out to the public, please go to our website at www.westmontbbq.com. That website gets updated on a daily basis now.
And just to add to that, it's not with the barbecue, but on Memorial Day, then on the Monday at 10:30, it's the annual Veterans Parade on Memorial Day that's run by the American Legion. It steps off at 10:30 in Naperville and Cass, and heads straight south on Cass to Richmond over to Veterans Memorial Park for a ceremony. So it's usually well-attended, and it'll follow the same format in the past.
Oh, no,
And Sunday morning is Race to the Flag, which is an organization, a bunch of volunteers who do that for St. Jude's Hospital. The Lions will be cooking that morning, so there's a pancake breakfast, and I think it's $5, 8 to 11, 8 to 12.
I think it's probably closer to 8 to 11,
8
because
to
I'm
11.
tired of cooking by then.
And so again, come out, have breakfast. The one thing I will tell everybody is one of the nicest things, and I'm there all weekend as Lion Chris is, the aroma. Once you're on site, I mean, the smells of barbecue is almost unbelievable. And if you get an opportunity, we have teams this year, by the way. This is kind of a really good year. I have one team coming all the way from North Dakota to compete. I have another team coming up from Louisiana to compete. So we have like 8 or 9 different states represented this year. We're the largest cooking competition like this in Illinois with this many teams. So we're pretty proud of where we've gone in 8 years.
Right, I did find out today that we do have one judge coming from Alaska.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So we're out there, everybody knows who we are, and we're just going to keep this going. Does anybody have any questions?
Signs.
Signs.
Yard
We have
signs.
plenty of signs. Anybody needs a sign, please let me know. We'll get them up.
We'll get them out for you, yeah.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
So thank you.
Trustee Addington, you said there's
I
one
said there
more.
one other thing. I don't know, Chief, if you want to mention Cop on Top? Thank you. Because that's the 30th.
Thank you. May 30th, Friday, at the Dunkin' Donuts 63rd, just west of Cass Avenue. Policeman's favorite donut shop. We will be taking part in the annual Cop on Top presentation for the Special Olympics Law Enforcement Torch Run for Illinois. I think this is probably my 4th or 5th year being up there on top. I haven't checked the weather yet, but hopefully won't be too sunny, but it will be hopefully dry. But we ask everyone to please come. All proceeds go right towards Special Olympics. Nothing to the Westmont Police Department, nothing to the village, nothing to the torch run. It all goes right towards the Special Olympians, and which we have several in Westmont. We're very honored to have them. So we will be up on the roof from 6, and we say till noon, but usually come around 10 o'clock. I'm like, hurry up, let's go. But we'll be there till noon. So please stop by. We have shirts, hats, pins, coffee mugs, and if you make a donation, you get a coupon for a free donut, I believe, as well, too. So we ask everyone to stop by, make a donation, and help support Special Olympics.
Thanks, Chief. Trustee Addington, is there anything?
That's it, sir.
That's it, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 6, items removed from the consent agenda. What I'm going to ask, before I ask if anything can be removed, I'll ask Assistant Manager May to make one comment about the consent agenda.
Yes, thank you. Amongst the consent agenda, several items, one of them being the list of purchase orders to be approved. I wanted to point out for your reference that there are 2 individual purchase orders for Curry Motors that both represent the purchase of the 2015 Ford Utility Police Interceptors. There are 2 separate purchase orders. They're for identical vehicles. One has 3 vehicles on it, and the other purchase order has 1 vehicle on it. There is nothing difference between the vehicles, but given the amount of discussion that was held during the budget process, the purchase orders were split up to permit further discussion if wanted.
In case there was anything that wanted to be removed, we did it this way. So just for your information.
No,
Now, well, I'm going to go back and ask, is there anything from board members requesting that the items be removed from the consent agenda?
no, they're all budgeted items.
None?
Well, again, the vehicle replacement is something that was discussed thoroughly at the budget, so I'm with Trustee Addington that these are budgeted items. So at this point, I think we've already.
So seeing none requested, I'll ask that Assistant Manager May please read the consent agenda.
Thank you. Under the consent agenda, the first item is Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held on May 1st, 2014, as well as the Village Board Westmont Northside Village Tour, which was held on April 27th, 2014. Next would be the finance ordinance number 2, in the amount of $1,537,452.29. Next is purchase orders, consisting of first purchase orders for Waste Management North, $5,900 for yard waste and refuse stickers. Next purchase order is to Baker Tilly Birchow Kraus for $7,125, representing the audit services through April 30th, 2014. Next purchase order is Don Morris Architect in the amount of $9,215. These represent fees for permit review and inspections related to building permits, and all of those fees are recaptured through permit fees. Next purchase order is Clark Environmental, $77,970. This is an open PO for the annual mosquito abatement program. Next, we have purchase order for AMEC Environmental and Infrastructure Incorporated in the amount of $79,973. That is also an open PO. It represents the dollar amount per previously awarded contract by the village board. 2 features with this purchase order is that total dollar amount is the encumbering money for the entire cost. There's also a simultaneous payout that you would be approving at the same time. First payout in the amount of $9,240. The last thing I'd like to point out on that, it's the only purchase order marked as not budgeted. That is only due to the fact that that was awarded before May 1st, before the fiscal year was. Technically, it wasn't budgeted, but you are funding it through the through the bond that is budgeted in the current fiscal year, so it's kind of no and yes as far as being budgeted. Next purchase order is Core Mechanical, $76,795, which is also an open PO, and that represents the HVAC portion of the fire headquarters roof project. Next purchase order is Metal Master Roof Master Incorporated, also an open PO in the amount of $90,789, similarly per a awarded contract. Then the next two purchase orders are for Curry Motors. Both represent 2015 Ford Utility Police Interceptors. The first purchase order in the amount of $80,487 represents 3 of those vehicles. Next purchase order is $26,829 for the fourth one. Then there is Bell Fuels. Purchase order for $295,000. This is an open purchase order representing the annual fuel purchase for fiscal year 2015. Next purchase order is James D. Fiala Paving Company in the amount of $577,324.47. This is for construction surfaces with the 2014 spring street resurfacing project. There are 2 purchase orders for James D. Fiala, kind of in backwards order. The second one, which would be the next one, is for $999,999. This is a limitation of the purchase order software, an intentional limitation to limit any approval of anything more than $1 million. So it is split up into 2 purchase orders. The contract is $1.58 million for resurfacing. So they're both being approved at the same time, but the second one that I referenced also has a simultaneous payment. You noticed a lot of work going on, so they're ready for their first payout in the amount of $319,230. The total of all purchase orders is $2,327,406.47, and then totaling purchase orders and finance ordinance number 2 represents a total amount of $3,864,858.76. Continuing on with the consent agenda, we have a proclamation for National EMS Week. Board to consider a proclamation declaring the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2014 as National Emergency Medical Services Week. Can I read that proclamation, Mayor?
Manager Searle always does.
All right, then I better.
Please do.
Yes, thank you. EMS Week proclamation. Whereas the emergency medical service is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, Ron Gunter, Mayor, Westmont, Illinois, in recognition of this event, does hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2014 as Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Dedicated for Life. The community is encouraged to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Then, continuing on with the consent agenda, community events, Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, Pet Promenade. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau for the September 13th, 2014 Pet Promenade. Or promenade, depending on how you pronounce it, which includes street closure Chestnut Drive from Burr Oak Drive to Blackhawk Drive on Saturday, September 13th, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and approval of live amplified sound waiver during the same closure hours.
And I think we have Executive Director Larry Forsberg to provide some additional information on that.
Good evening and thank you. This is the third year for the Pet Promenade, or Promenade, we hear it both different ways. And it has grown each and every year. So this year, what we are planning and doing, the reason we're requesting this, is we're going to be moving our vendors from the park property proper onto the street. We will be partnering with the fire department to make sure we have the necessary access for emergency vehicles. But this will allow us to use the park in a more robust way for the activities that we plan to do with the pet owners in terms of the promenade itself and in terms of some of the live demonstrations that we do during the day. And then the request for the amplified sound is not that we're going to be having a live band or music out there, but we do announcements throughout the event, and we do have some background music during parts of the day. But that's our event. We're looking forward to it. We're pleased to have the growth that we're experiencing with this event. It brings a lot of folks from outside Westmont to Tidewater Park and to our community, so we're looking forward to it. Are there any questions I can answer?
It's a great thing.
No, I think Burr Oak is probably a better street than Closed-In Plaza, so there's really no businesses that are open
Yeah.
on this Saturday, so. And it's become a very well-attended event. So. Nope, I guess you did a good job explaining it. Thank you.
Great.
Mayor, that concludes the consent agenda.
I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second, Scott.
Motion been made and seconded on the question. Anybody in the audience? Trustees? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Moving on to new business. A, 22 North Cass KH renovations. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following request from KH Renovations to allow the operation of a contractor shop in a B1 Limited Business District. 1, development permit. 2, a waiver from the cash in lieu payment for B1 parking spaces. Assistant Manager May.
The applicant requests to operate a contractor's retail shop at 22 North Cass, which was formerly occupied by Irva Kaplan Interiors. This isn't an allowed use in the B1 zoning district, and this building is located within the Central Business TIF district. 2 parking spaces are required, and 1 space is provided in the rear of the site. Whenever parking space requirements are 3 or less stalls, the need to provide the actual parking stalls is not required, and we have the option for the cash in lieu of waiver, which is being requested tonight.
And we do have the petitioner here, Bill Caliphate.
Good evening, everyone.
Floor is yours.
As most of you know, I'm Bill Caliphate. I'm the owner of KH Renovations, and we are requesting the special permit to relocate from our existing location at 205 North Cass to 22 North Cass Avenue, there where Irv Kaplan was. Just to give you a little background history on the business, we're coming up to our 29th year in business. 25 of those years have been here in Westmont, and 14 of those 25 have been at 205 North Cass. We've currently been sharing 205 North Cass with my real estate brokerage business, a nice little 1,400 square foot property there. Over the past 5 to 7 years, the renovation business has really changed in that we have started repping cabinet lines and different lines of products for our customers to choose from. And in 1,400 square feet and 2 businesses, there just isn't room. So we're looking forward to hopefully being able to move to a larger space. The plans for the building, as most of you know, the building does need some love and some TLC. All the mechanicals, we're going to finally bring it up to breakers instead of screw-in fuses. So a lot of stuff will be done to the building, as well as we're planning probably a third of that building to be set up as a showroom for our display of our products and to look to get more walk-in business and that kind of business, more than what we do right now. So I'm open to any questions anybody may have.
No. It probably, I was amazed that you stayed as long as you did in that little space. This will work out much better for you, I think.
It's funny, when we have clients coming in to pick selections and stuff, we're down in the basement pulling what we need, okay, bringing it up to the conference room and stuff, so this is going to be a lot nicer, I think. So.
Before I ask for a motion, is that one of the buildings still yet that has not met the fire alarm?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And that will be all in the
Part of
plans to
it,
have the fire alarm system put in
Okay.
there, correct? Yes, yeah.
Because I remember seeing it on our,
And we're not looking to do a whole lot of layout changes, if most of you have been in IRFs. In terms of interior walls and things like that, we're not really going to modify a whole lot of that. We're going to kind of keep the way it's laid out now, but just kind of bring everything up to date and stuff, so.
okay.
In regards to the parking, asking for the waiver, it's kind of borderline. There's like one parallel parking space in the back, or if you have a car my size or smaller, you can diagonal too. So we're kind of right at the border of having enough there or not, so.
Yeah, but on the side, there's a couple of,
That's all the Charlie's, the bar there. There's nothing on the side, so.
Do I have a motion?
Well, Steve, what is the,
motion first.
I'm sorry,
We've been discussing it. I mean, you can continue.
what is the cash, what is the amount there that we're waiving?
I believe it's $500.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
normally do that, so.
Do I have a motion?
Motion approved, Scott. Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. On the question. Anybody from the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. You moving in tonight?
Yeah. Start demoing.
All right, congratulations.
No, I look forward to seeing you all at the grand opening later in the summer, early fall.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is $500, so just double check the ordinance as well.
Thank you.
New business B, 5801 South Cass Avenue, the Burgess Square Healthcare. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from Burgess Square Healthcare to allow the construction of a parking lot addition in the R4 General Residence District. 1, site and landscaping plan approval, and 2, waiver of full detention for the entire site. Assistant Manager May.
Burgess Square has a current parking shortage that is creating a situation on 58th Street that is an access concern not only for traveling public, the residents across the street, garbage collection, and it's termed in here as a public safety concern for the access because the difficulty accessing the site with a full-size emergency response. Not so much the police department, but when a fire truck or an ambulance has to get in there, everything's very tight. And this has been going on for years. Certainly, everybody recognizes it. And when we have the amount of snow that we had last winter, and stuff gets further and further away from the curb, it aggravated that further. So Burgess Square, with interest of doing parking lot improvements on there, do have a proposal to install parking on the site. The waiver, it's a very nice plan from the staff perspective, but one of the features here is that by our ordinances, not the county ordinances, the full waiver, the full detention requirement would kick in, which means they would have a responsibility for stormwater management for the entire parcel as developed. The features that they're proposing, and they're here tonight, the engineer, John Green from Engineering Resources, are putting in a lot of the green infrastructure improvements that we have been encouraging for as long as we've had the Stormwater Committee, and have a design for their parking lot that is a vast improvement over what is existing, but it is not the full requirement for the amount of detention. So before you is the site landscaping plan, as well as the waiver for the full detention requirement, which is just our requirement.
So,
yeah, John, do you have a diagram that you can, if you put it on the projector there, it'll turn on?
and we've got a board, we can
Just set that. Here we are. Hello, my name is John Green with Engineering Resource Associates located in Warrenville, Illinois. I'm the site land surveyor, planner, and civil engineer. I have on the screen a engineering site plan showing the existing and proposed improvements. I'll orient you. North is up on the sheet. 58th Street is oriented in this direction. And the proposed parking lot is located in this area. It's shaded. Also up for discussion, based on last night's Plan Commission and staff recommendation, is the request to install approximately 9 permeable paver parking stalls in this area along the southerly access drive. For reference, there is a school to the south of us. I'll note that these additional 9 stalls, as described in the staff report, is currently parked, but just a gravel base. So we're going to scoop that existing gravel out and construct a environmentally friendly permeable paver system in that area, as well as the proposed 53 stalls on the westerly side, the existing parking lot. I'll also note that another green feature we're adding is a rain garden. There'll be a 25 or 30-foot wide area between the existing curb and the proposed curb. And sheet number 2 has an engineering schematic of it. If we can zoom in, but this is a feature here that will be a natural area. This new parking lot we're designing will not have any catch basins in it. You know, traditionally you have asphalt or concrete and it's 100% runoff that goes right to the drain. In this case, what water does not soak into the pavement itself will be routed towards the rain garden. Excuse me, there'll be a series of depressions in the concrete curb that allow any of the excess overflow to come into the rain garden. And there'll be native plantings that will facilitate the natural drainage of the rainwater to go into the ground. The bottom of the rain garden will have a perforated underdrain, plastic pipe, small pipe with perforations in it to take the water after it's soaked through the ground to the village system. But after the delay of being stored within all the void ratio of the stone, which is beneath the ground. The permeable pavement system will be capable of handling essentially an 18-wheeler truck in the industry known as a H20 truckload, which is equivalent to the village's largest fire department apparatus that would traverse the site. We are slightly modifying the front main entrance off of 58th Street. We're actually shifting it just about 12 feet or so to the west to better align with the existing aisles for easier and a safer traffic geometry. With that, the owner's representative, Neil Glein, is here, as well as the landscape architect, Michael Trappetti, if you have any questions for any of us.
Attorney has a comment.
This was heard last night at Planning and Zoning. They unanimously recommended approval. One of the conditions that staff raised, in addition to the 9 parking spaces along the south building line, was removing the row of parking in the rear yard setback.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just,
You're right. It is the rear, the east edge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just indicate where that is?
Sure. The attorney has referenced this rear aisleway in the rear of the site. It's asphalt, and there are parking stalls on the west side of it, closest to the building. Currently, the facility is parking on both sides, so the east side of that asphalt drive is actually aggregate or stone, and we are agreeing to comply with staff's request to pick up and remove that stone and landscape that area.
So I put both of those conditions into the ordinance because they're not depicted on the site plan that's in front of you. And that was an addition because of last night's meeting, so it wasn't part of the draft ordinances that you had emailed yesterday.
So they'll be added.
It's already in
It's
there.
already added, okay. Very good. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved, Scott. Second, Addington.
Motion made and seconded to approve as presented. On the question. Yeah, I am.
How long before you get started and finished?
Well, we've been very appreciative of staff in the village of getting us on agendas and having consecutive night approvals last night and anticipated this evening, and we're grateful for that. We're anticipating submitting final engineering drawings within the next few days, and then beginning construction ASAP, hopefully by June or July.
Right.
This will be the first one now with these these pavers and everything. I'm looking forward to seeing how, and putting the garden in next to it. This is exactly the stuff that we talked about. This is exciting.
On that rear landscaping where you're taking out the gravel, is that going to be a rain garden also? Is that just going to be standard landscaping?
It'll be standard in that area.
Is there anybody from the public that has any questions? Additional questions from trustees?
No.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Excuse me, Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure you let us know when you're all done so we can come down and look at it.
Sure.
I guess
I think we'll have to get our chamber director for ribbon cutting.
Yeah, there you go.
Mayor, it wasn't directly needed for purposes of deliberating the decision, but when they are done and that parking lot is in service, it is our intention to restrict parking on one side of 58th Street to avoid that from ever reoccurring
Yeah.
again.
Yes. Okay, thank you. New business C, the prevailing wage ordinance. Board to consider ordinance to ascertain the prevailing wages as defined in said act. I'll read this time, Steve. The Village of Westmont is required by Illinois state law to adopt the attached ordinance and mail certified copies to the state of Illinois. This particular state law requires the village to ascertain the prevailing wages as defined in state law for laborers, mechanics, and other workers in the locality of the village who are employed in performing construction of public works. Do I have a roll call? I mean, not a roll call.
Need a
Can I have a
motion.
motion? I'll do that first.
Motion, Addington.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and seconded to approve the prevailing wage ordinance. On the question. Anybody from the audience? This is an annual event that you have to comply with, so seeing none, now I'll ask for the roll call, please.
Okay. Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
And Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Thank you. Miscellaneous. Is there any trustees that have any? Trustee Addington?
I have one, well, I stole your thunder. Just one question, either from the clerk or from Steve, just so I get a little bit of understanding. This $5,900 for waste management for yard sticker and refuge stickers, is that to print them?
No, that's the actual sticker itself, Trustee Addington. What it is we're buying it at cost from the waste management company. These are the stickers that the residents then purchase from us.
Oh, so we buy them, then we get reimbursed the $5,900?
That's correct.
Okay.
As they're being purchased at our cashier window, that's
Okay.
how the situation works.
So,
just make it
so we
available.
shell out the $5,900, but then it all comes back once
Exactly.
they're all sold.
That's correct.
That
They
was-
don't expire, right?
No, they don't. There's no expiration.
Trustee Barry?
I wait for a full board when Sue's back.
If you
Any
hurry
other-
up, we can go in there before they get here.
Yeah, any other trustee have a miscellaneous item? If not, we have executive session. There being no further business, I'll entertain a motion to go in executive session for the purpose of discussing, 1, the purchase of real property for the use of the village, 2, personnel, and pending litigation to discuss the farmers insurance class action lawsuit.
Motion Addington to go into executive session for those 3 reasons.
Second, Barker.
Motion been made and second to adjourn to executive session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Again, there will not be any further official business after the executive session, so at this point, this part of the, what?
Do you intend to reconvene the public?
There is, for those that would like to stay around and wait for the executive session to end. We are going to reconvene our Public Works Committee meeting after that.
Yeah, but no action items, just.
There's no action that can be done, but we did not have an opportunity to finish our Public Works Committee meeting. So as soon as the executive session meeting is done, we'll adjourn the board meeting and reconvene the Public Works Committee meeting. So seeing that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.